Sit. We always have her sit. Okay, sit. I'm gonna walk her closer to the doorway so you can see her. So I always have her sit at the front door before we come out. She does this multiple times a day with multiple people. So you step out, she waits, so you step back. Never call her to you. Always make sure she waits to go through the boundary with you. It's much harder for her to do this for any dog, so that's why we practice it this way. Okay. And she may want to rush out, so see how I'm doing it really slowly and kind of tapping like that. And then you get to do this little left circle, because that's always your move, right? If you want to go somewhere, you're going to turn into her. The most you have to do is tap to slow her down. Your body does all the work. Don't do this. Make sure you're not doing this, because you're pulling her around and she will start pulling away and it all falls apart. So for quite a while, you should be doing, okay, resetting her with that left turn, all that kind of stuff. So we're just going to go inside right now just to show you. Sit. So let's say that she's been out here running around playing. Somebody calls her to come, she comes, we put her on the leash, we have her sit in front of the door, we step in, we step back, she waits till we come back. Okay, she walks through with us without pulling, and that's how we take her into the house. Okay, sit. Now we're taking Navi for a walk, and we always start the training on the inside of our house, inside of the training house that she's in. We have her sit and wait while we do the front door thing. We come out, we walk her across the yard. This gate leads out onto the street. We do the same thing with this boundary. Okay, make sure she starts to walk very quietly, or very, very calmly and quietly. And we're not done yet with the calmness. Here, we always have her wait at, see how she gets really excited out here and there's people. Why don't you go to your left very gradually and slowly and show that. Very slowly show that. And of course she barks. Come. And then come back to me. So she was watching them for a while and didn't bark, and I should have said, come, like that, and she wouldn't have barked, but I wanted to make sure that you were shown that. And then we also have somebody standing there. Can you see that? See that person there? Okay, so before we go greet him, we are going to have her just do this curb thing that I always do. Sit. We still have these people over there doing stuff. Good. So I'm going to walk around her when she's in a sit stay. If you start the walk like this every day, she'll start to anticipate that she's going to be calm, and she'll get calmer over time. Okay, this is what we do every day with her. And we walk her across the street in training mode. Not that you have to walk her across the street, but this is just what we've been doing here. And then on the other side, I have her sit. And then here's where I release her, be free, go. And we start our walk. And of course, the whole thing with walking her is watching for distractions. Come, calling her back to me. Good, calling her away before she's triggered, come, to bark, which has worked really well and greatly desensitized her to things out in public. As you know, she was very triggerable before she came here, and now it takes a while, and this is exactly what you'll see. She still might bark a little bit at certain things like what you saw there, but you'll see that there's a space of time before she does. Like that was maybe, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 seconds, something like that, before she finally did it. And you'll see over time, it'll take longer and longer and longer for her to react like she used to. But don't wait for her to react. Do what I should have done over there. And if I wasn't directing the cameraman, I would have, see the mailman, can we see that? Come. I should have called her right away and she never would have barked. But you want to plug in the appropriate response, which is to turn away from that distraction and come to you, and she's not going to bark. With the reward, here it comes, come. So we're just going to deal with this as it happens. This is one way to do it. Always keep that leash loose. Just get a big handful of treats as the distraction passes by. Come. Good. Come. And that's the way to handle distraction. She's still doing it a little bit, but you see how she'll bark and then turn around. Let's let her do it again a couple of times. And she's just turning around now because he's walking down the street and farther away. It's worse when the distraction is close. So that's another reason why I've always practiced from far away and moved closer to cars used to be a big thing with her too. So start farther away and move closer to busy streets, and that way you can control her reaction to that. Now we have the mailman coming this way. You don't have to show him though. Come! See how she looked at him? And I called her away. And I'm just gonna come, draw her away right here. Keep the leash loose and show you with a handful of treats. No restraining. I'm just kind of doling it out slowly, and this isn't anything special either. This is just, come. And I'm gonna call her this way, away from it. These are just dog treats, like Natural Balance. Come. I think you should be using chicken breast, anything super special, because the more enticing the high value reward is, good, the more likely she's going to ignore that distraction at first, and then over time she becomes desensitized to that, and you won't have to do this anymore. Okay. We're about to approach a pretty busy street that I was not able to get her even close to when we first started. And the way that we got her more used to this is I started from far away and every day just worked a little bit closer, and of course calling her come. There's a car right there. She still is a little triggerable by cars that are close to us, that are, parking or turning around or whatever. Good. She would put her tail between her legs and just run the other way. I mean, it was just uncontrollable, and so I didn't bring her back here for a few weeks to give her just some more solid skills. Then when she had some more skills, I started bringing her back here gradually, and she's much better. Come on. And we have another thing. It's okay, sweetie, come on. We have another thing over there, which is a Christmas tree lot, and they're cutting trees, so you have the sawing noise. Okay, come on. Good, but I don't want her to be afraid. I don't know if you can hear that. It's over there. And she's a little bit afraid by that, but she's not to the point where she's just turning tail and running like she used to. So we're going to practice, okay, right here. We're not going to get closer. Sit. So the sit command, as with other commands, we never repeat it. And if she didn't sit for some reason, you just pull up with a little bit of tension like that. You're not jerking, hanging, anything like that. You're not trying it and going like this. It's just sit. It's continuous, gentle, but constant pressure. Good. I'm just giving her treats because the cars going past, along with the saw noise, is making her a little nervous. And then her butt hits the ground and you release it immediately. Stay is built into sit and down, so you can step away, and of course we're out in public, so never drop the leash, but you can practice little sit stays in different places. Always reward her when you come back next to her. Eye contact, you're looking down at her, put the treat by your eyes. There, good, she gets that reward. And then you can either release her by saying okay and walking with you, and she's still on the clock, or if you want to release her, be off the clock, it's patting her chest, keep the leash loose, go, and she's free. Go. Here you go. So we're walking a little bit closer for the downstay just to see if we can do this. I want her on your side. Down. So here, this is how she's doing a DOWN in a stressful situation. And I'm going to give her the reward, good, as she turns away. And this is, a situation that used to completely freak her out. We're a lot closer to the street, and with the funny noises across the street at the Christmas tree place, makes it extra hard. I didn't really calculate for that in this video because we had her doing downstays there at the corner, but the noise over there is a new thing. So she's doing pretty well considering I haven't practiced with saw noises with her yet. Good, but you can see she's stabilizing, and doing hard stuff like this really makes staying in downstays with other dogs walking around her, things like that, a lot easier. Good, because this is so much harder than that, and then the pounding and things like that. So she's doing really well. So you saw that she was a little bit hesitant to go down because she's so nervous here. So I didn't repeat the command. I just gently but firmly kind of eased her down. A little bit of pressure on the leash and she'll go there. Never repeat the command. All she knows is she heard it once and she goes there even if you have to help her. And then stay is implied, so we don't have to say stay. She just knows that if you say down, she's waiting for you to come back next to her like this and give her the command to come out of the downstay. If she pops up before you release her, you just say no. Gently but firmly ease her back down. If you're doing something like this that's really freaking her out, maybe it's something that you're trying that's a little bit too much too soon, just like I described. Good. We eased her into this gradually. So if she keeps making mistakes and she's afraid it's too much too soon, move farther away and practice it and gradually move closer like I did with this situation. But the way that you release her, she's waiting for you to come back next to her, just like exactly like the mat exercise. Pat your leg and say, okay. She'll get up, have her sit. Always release her from a calm sit stay. She's on your left with your right hand. Go. She's free. Now we can go to a quieter place. Sit. You always walk her up to the mat, have her sit first. She's going to be on your left. Make sure that you're not doing this because a tight leash will make her even more excitable. So leash is always loose. If she gets up before you release her, tap this and say no. And she'll most likely go back. That's the way to do it. With your right hand, pat her chest and say, go to your mat, walk her over and say down. She's going to go down anyway, but you should always say the command because you always want her to connect the command, your word command, with the action. Because in a situation that she's not used to, she is used to this, but a situation that she doesn't know what she's supposed to be doing in, you need to say the command so that she does it. And if you say it when you plug it in at the right moment like we did here, even though she was about to do it anyway, it's going to be better when she needs to be told. Because all she knows is she hears a command and she goes there. So say it every time, even if you think that she knows what to do. And that goes for sit as well. So with this exercise, I'm just doing a basic downstay, walking around her both ways. Just kind of the way I start this exercise. The most basic of downstays. Whatever she does on the mat, she now does without the mat. Good. See how she waits respectfully until I withdraw. Now if she tries to take it out of your hand or bumps your hand or gets too close, you pull back and say no. And she may do it here, so let's see if we can get her to do it. No. Good. Pausing for a couple of seconds down there and really being calm and withdrawing like you see me doing it really helps her get calmer over time. So I would recommend you doing that. The calmer you are, the calmer she's going to be. You can also just do little things like pull on the leash, not too hard of course, but good. Little things that before would make her pop up. Any dog, when they come here, I pull on the leash and they'll come to me because, of course, people have been pulling them around on a leash. So just basic stuff. Now she's interested in a fly that's harassing her. Good. She stayed there. Reward for that. Good. And we're going to have another dog come out. So here comes another dog. Good. So here comes another dog. Show her. So Navi's in a downstay. Even though I don't think she knows this dog. Yeah, walk around. It's going to be hard to walk this way, so just kind of walk back and forth this way. Right here. There you go. And see how she will turn back to me. Good. Even in this situation, pause. She waits respectfully. Withdraw. She gets the reward. I gave her like a triple big reward because this is a big distraction for a lot of dogs, and especially for her. And this is the kind of exercise I want you to do with her when she comes back to you. Good. She's kind of crowding the front of the mat. So if I do this, I'm going to show you one way to back her up without releasing her. Step into her like that and kind of touch her, the tops of her feet. She's very sensitive. You don't want to step down hard. You're just touching them and she'll back up. And then you have more space here, which makes it easier to do this. Good. And then once you get, and she gets used to you doing this, so I'm going to remind her what to keep doing. Down. I'm going to take over. You can do it on your own. And she'll stay there. And I've never done this before. I'm just pretty sure that she can handle it. Good. Down. So that saying the down command when you're in a situation that is extra hard and maybe you've never tried before works really well, because you're reminding her what to keep doing, because she could have easily lost focus there, and I think she was about to, and popped out of her downstay. Good. But it's different than our rule of not repeating the command. You can take him in now. You never repeat the command when you're putting her in a downstay or sit stay or any command at all. But if you're practicing something for the first time, or you found something that's difficult for her to handle and you're trying to get through it, occasionally, like going to the gate and coming back, or going in the house and coming back, something hard, before you do that, down, remind her what to keep doing, and you might just have to do it in that situation once or twice. Then she's got that, and then you move on to other things. So that's the only time we'd ever say the command twice. She did very well. Good. Now we're going to release her. Always do it this way. Pick up the leash, or if you haven't already had it in your hand, walk next to her, just like you'd release her from a downstay, just anywhere out in public. Okay, walk her off, have her sit. Keep that leash loose always, pat her chest and say, go. And then you always pick up that mat. It's a very exclusive place. She doesn't hang out on it. It's not a doggy bed. It is only for this one exercise that we do. It's an interactive exercise you do with her. You do it exactly the way that I do it here. No variations. She goes on with your permission. She comes off with your permission. When you're done, you either put her away and come back and get it, or you're not going to do that, pick it up, because she's going to want to run back there and hang out on it. They all do, because they love it, because of the way this game goes. But you don't want to do that, because it cheapens the effect of this exercise if she can just go on and off it whenever she feels like it. So always pick it up, put it away. Only use it for this one thing. Okay. Sit, just like the mat. Have her sit before you come to the crate. This leash always stays loose. If she jumps the gun and wants to run in, tap her and she'll go back. Open the door. Never leave it open, because then you squander your power of controlling the boundary. So loose leash, go, send her in. She loves to go in there. Good. It's always the same thing. Goes in there, turns around. Treats. The treats are given to her when she goes in. You take off her equipment. Just put her in the crate, took off her equipment here. And what I do is I hang the prong collar, this little tiny prong collar we use sometimes for dogs. Hang this on the door. That way it never gets tangled up. It's right there for you to grab. It's really easy. If you throw it down, if you put it somewhere, it kind of bunches up and it could get tangled. It didn't that time, but sometimes it gets tangled and takes you 5 minutes to untangle it, so just do it that way. And when you put it on her, you definitely make sure it's not twisted, so just hang it like that. And then you can attach the leash to it before you even put it on her, and you already have, see, it'll get tangled easily, so just let it hang. And it should look like this when you're going to put it on her, like this. The leash is attached to the funny shape buckle. The ring, the round ring there, is just a spacer. You don't touch that. It's just, so it should be like that. The choke chain I always take off when they're in the crate. because you never know what could happen, just for safety's sake, and nothing goes wrong if you're extra careful. The choke chain is only for safety. It's really only when she goes out in public, because occasionally these little prong collars will come off because they're kind of flimsy, but it's the smallest size they make, and the dogs, because it's so small and covers such a very thin area around their neck, they're extra sensitive to it, which means that there's no muscling them or popping and jerking and no rough stuff, and there never should be really in any training, but I know there is sometimes. It's just about being able to handle her with ease, and you see how it works throughout the video and all the other videos. So this is not supposed to cause pain. If you're causing pain, you're doing it wrong, and it is perfectly sized to her neck. If you take out a link, it'll be too tight. If you add a link, it'll be too loose, because if it's too loose, it'll stick her when you pull on it. So make sure that it's just lightly touching all the way around. When you tap on it, it closes with the same pressure all the way around. That's the power of the prong collar. If you use it properly, it goes on right above all the other collars, right below her ears. So it's always the highest collar up. We attach the leash to the choke chain as well, because if that prong collar ever comes off, you don't lose the dog. This could be really damaging to her throat, so we never use this for training, and nobody ever should, because you could really mess up a dog's throat with this. So that's only for safety, not for training, and only for when you go out in public, just in case. And several times a year, this thing comes off for whatever reason, and I'm always glad I'm doubled up, because no dog gets away from me. So I would recommend you keep using it. When you're going to take her out, first of all, her routine here has been in and out of this crate constantly throughout the day. You have to let them out a lot, obviously, or else they start getting stressed out, and they come here to get relaxed and calmer. So she could be out every hour and a half. She's out for 15, 20 minutes, an hour, half an hour. It's always different, but lots of out time, plenty of free time. And then every time that she goes in the crate, it's the same way as we just showed you. She eats her meals in there, so we bring her a bowl of food to her, she gets it in there, the door's always closed. It's closed when she's in, it's closed when she's out. That's the whole power of the crate. You control her access in and out of her favorite place. Dogs are naturally den animals, so we developed this as their den. They love going in there because every time they go in, they get a treat. Close the door, they get a treat. Every time that we go in to put this stuff on or go in to take her out, it's a treat. So all the interactions with her in there is very positive. We don't ever use it as a punishment, a timeout place or anything. If we do need to use it to manage the dog, it's always, even if you are stressed out or upset, you have to pretend like you're not, because they'll start associating it with your bad vibes, so to speak. So always make it that happy place. Good stuff happens when she goes in there. Her Chewy's bones also only in there, especially when you have multiple dogs in the household. There could be fights. You never know. Anything that's special to her in there, and that just improves your control of her and her love of going in there. So that's why we use it. That's how we use it. She's been used to that routine for a number of weeks now since she's been here, and I'm about to put this on her and take her out. So actually, if you put the choke chain on first, it's way easier, and I'm just going to show you how the best way to do it. And if she is prone to run out with you, just before you do that, just do some little taps like that. If she tries to come out, you say no, and just do that. Stick your hand through this choke chain. She eats a treat, you just draw it over her head. Super easy. You don't want to be going like this and playing that. Nope. See how I can do that, and she backs up, but you might have to do this as well. It's very consistent and gentle, but it's very firm, so you're never slamming the door and hitting her in the face, of course. You don't want to be like trying to struggle with her. If you do this in the crate, it's so much easier, because really all the dogs just stand there and wait for you to do it, and then if you do it enough times, then later on you can do it outside the crate if you want. But this is a really good way to do it. Put all her stuff on. It's really easy. After a while, you get so good at it, you don't even have to look. You just do it by touch. So I do this little exercise where this is a big boundary, right? So all the other boundaries, you'll see. Good. She waits, and this is a very important boundary, so we practice the same exercise here. She waits. Good. She gets a reward. See how I'm sticking it inside? You don't want to give it to her like this because you'll teach her to stick her head out, so you don't want to do that. This crate might be just a little bit small for her. She might be about ready, good for the next size up. If you want extra space, the next size up would be good. This is a large, and the next size up is an extra large. So when I'm, if she does try to come out, if you try to do this, no, just do that. Nope. Like that, and that, nope. I've never done this with her out in the yard before, so she's not used to us doing the crate thing outside. Good. One last reward for doing it successfully. Okay, that's how she comes out. I always close this door, so when she comes out, do a little left turn like that, close the door, and then we can take her wherever we want to take her. Okay.